Good morning. Hello, how are you? My name is Rita Mukundi, coming to you all the way from Embu County, Kenya, at the foothills of Mount Kenya, from Privam Estate. Coffee farmers and proud coffee farmers to be. We do coffee farming with my husband, Patrick Mukundi, and this is our coffee. Karibuni sana. As I said, it is a family affair. So it's not just the two of us, it's our entire family. Starting with our mother, who is actually the farm manager, and our brothers and sisters, as well as our cousins. So at the end of the day, it's a village setup. So I want to introduce you to our coffee. Our coffee, we are proud of our coffee because every farmer who is serious about coffee wants to do something good, something great. And as we all know, that coffee is the one drink that is taken by almost everybody in the morning. It is energizing, it is revitalizing, and it makes you, spark up in the morning when you've had a long night. So we started farming coffee there about 2013, 2014. Just a bit of a history of the Kenyan coffee. Most farmers, indigenous farmers, were actually farming for the Mzungu, the colonialism. So we were not allowed to have our own coffee farms, but after independence, we all started. Everybody had 1, 2, 3 bushes. And over the years, coffee and agriculture has been the mainstay for us on this side of the mountain. Actually, the mountain is just about 2 kilometers away from here. So we are right at the foothills of Mount Kenya. So we are farming our coffee on very high altitudes, very volcanic soils. So you can be assured that the taste of our coffee has so many factors in it. So back to the story. So land is an issue in the Kenyan sector, and mainly within the villages, with people only having small parcels of land, 1 acre, 2 acres, a quarter of an acre. And we have all grown up, especially those of us who come from Embu County, and have been brought up, educated through proceeds from coffee. I remember the days when I would hear stories of coffee boom. That is when payment for coffee had come up, and the villagers would actually come alive. And you could see everybody feeling energetic and rich because you have gotten something. So in years past, we've had, as I said, school fees paid directly by the cooperative societies into the schools. So kids actually went to school due to coffee. But unfortunately, things went south at some point in Kenya, and coffee production went down. Coffee proceeds went down, and coffee farming, very many people started even uprooting the coffee. However, for my husband, because this is his passion, he is the man who lights up when he talks about coffee. You start talking about coffee and he's at his best. I see him smiling most when he's talking to his trees. So in 2014, we were still working at the bank. Actually, I left the bank in 2014. He left a year later. But at that time is when we started thinking we need to start having something of our own. And naturally, as I said from our story, most of the coffee farmers are now at the older generation, our parents, our grandparents. So the younger generation, not many of us are actually in coffee. But those of us who are in coffee want to do coffee in a different manner, coffee that is quality coffee, specialty coffee more to speak. Farm it in large scale, not the small parcels. But you have to start somewhere. So we started somewhere. Right now, we've managed to buy parcels of land, and we have about 20 to 23 acres of land under coffee, and still increasing. Our production has been steady, but this year I can tell you the crop is just beautiful, and it's plentiful. Already we have 40,000 of cherry, and we've just started scratching the surface. We're estimating at least double that to 100. So you can be assured that we will have enough coffee to be able to bring to the market. The other thing I can say about our coffee, let's talk about the sizing, for example. Last year alone, our AA and our AB were actually equal. The quantities, we had the same equal quantities. And our AA, AB, and PB actually gave us 95% of our coffee. The rest were the C's and the others. So our aim has been to bring the quality of our coffee up and up every time. How do we do this? We do a lot of benchmarking with farmers who we feel are doing a better job than us or are doing something differently from us. We do a lot of research. We talk to people like Raphael and harass them to come and teach us a bit more about coffee, teach us about cupping. Actually, when you talk about training, I have a certification in green coffee from SCA, and for green coffee and also for sensory. So I can say I have a little bit of what it needs as a farmer, because for the farmer, you need to know what you're putting in your cup. And that is something that we are lacking. That's why we say the younger farmer, who is us. We want to do things differently. We want to bring the product that the market really wants. As much as Kenyan coffee is a premium coffee, you want to ensure that this premium, you've actually put in a little bit more value add to it, other than just what you do. So our coffee, as I said, is a family affair. And it's an all-year cycle, because it does not end with the picking or the drying or the milling. Every year from beginning of January, there is the looking at the farms. How is the husbandry? Do we have enough manure? We use compost manure. Do we have the trees that we saw maybe are diseased or have an issue? We uproot those. So the season coming up from here, right now we are in the picking season, drying season, that whole process. However, come January, we will be back at the farms, ensuring that there is manure, there is everything good that this tree will need. We also follow a very strict regime. As you know, we are in the higher altitude, very close to the mountain. So we have planted Batian variety. We have a little bit of Ruiru, but traditionally this Kenya has been an SL, SL land. So we still have a lot of SL 28 and 34. And interestingly, when you do a mix of those varieties, you have a very interesting cup. As of last year, the cup quality or the grading for our cup was 86 plus, some all the way to 88. So this year we are targeting a 90 plus, and I'm sure we are going to get that. So karibuni sana to our farms. So here are our drying tables. However, I'd like to show you the entire processing process at our pulping station. As I said, we have to try and make sure that the quality at the farm is also maintained post-harvest. So we made a conscious decision, I think now 4 years ago, to take control of the processing of our coffee, and therefore we moved out of the cooperative society. We invested in our own pulping station, and I can say that that has been a good experience, as we have seen the growth of production year on year. So as I said earlier, this year we're expecting to have about 100,000 kilos of cherry. And so right here is where the whole pulping process begins. We have invested in enough gunny bags to transport the cherry from the farms. And this is where we do our weighing. We actually have a 3-ton digital weighing scale that we use to weigh our coffee. Then we put it in the kettle. We have also invested heavily in a clean water source. We actually pump our water from the river for the processing, and that is why you can see there is enough water storage for this process. Ours is a wet process, and therefore we need a lot of that water. So from the kettle, I'll take you to the machine itself, the pulper. It's a 3-disc pulper. Therefore, we are able to pulp our coffee quickly because it has a high capacity. So let's take this route. As you can see, we have 1 or 2 trees right next to the pulping station, because at the end of the day, there are people who come to visit and they do not know what a coffee tree is, and they don't have the time to visit the farms. So this is Batian variety. So welcome to our pulping station. As I said, we have a 3-disc pulper. And as I said, it's a wet process, so it's pretty straightforward. The grading, we do it through water, and we have our P1 that comes in right here, and then all the other grades go into the other fermentation tank. So we also have the channels at the bottom, the grading channels on the other side. And then from there, the process is pretty straightforward. After the fermentation process, the cleaning process, then we take the parchment to the drying beds. Thank you.